Hi everyone, it's Sakura here from scrapalicious.com. I was asked to guest design for Gerda Steiner Designs, and I decided to work with this adorable stamp set called All Cats. I really like these little critters. They're just so fun to colour, quite humorous, and you can create any kind of cards using this one stamp set. I am stamping my image using the MISTI. It's the mini MISTI, and I'm double stamping for a really crisp and clear outline. And I'm using the black ink from My Favorite Things, and it's the first time I'm using that ink, and I really like using that. It's really good, great ink. The paper I'm using is Make It Crafty Copic paper, and I'm colouring the image using my Copic markers. The colouring is quite simple, so I won't bore you with my ramblings. So I'll just put on some nice music and I'll get back to you when I finish colouring this little cutie. Here I'm just adding a bit of warm greys to put some grounding to the image, and at the time when I used a cloth, I was using the colorless blender and just a regular cloth to add a tiny bit of texture to the kitty. And here I've already die cut 2 circles using my favorite things die, and I used pattern papers from Pink Paisley. And now I'm just figuring out how I can put the sentiment straight for that hat of mine getting in the way. I was just trying to get that as straight as possible. It is not quite straight, but it's close enough. It will do. And now I'm just adding all those things together, and I used a Neenah craft cardstock for the base of the card, and just to make this all fit together, I'm using Distress ink to ink the edges of all those pieces. Kind of makes them more unified, really. And I have a really hard time not using Distress ink when I'm making cards. Kind of my go-to tool or embellishment, depending on how you look at it. Now I'm just putting these things together. This is a regular size card, a 4.25 and 5.5. Now, since this is quite clean and simple design, I decided to use lots of foam tape to give it some extra dimension. And yes, I used a lot of foam, but that's what I like. I like it to be really sturdy. Now it seemed kind of bare just like that, so I decided to look for a doily, and I found this silver doily, which was just perfect. A tiny bit of shine, not too much, but gives a little extra and frames the whole image really. So I'm just putting these things together. And now I just have to put this on the front of the card, and yes, I am adding a bit more foam because it's not quite dimensional enough. And I absolutely love this Tim Holtz craft pick. Oh, makes it so much easier to pull those backings off. So glad I finally decided to buy this one. Now all this card needs is a tiny bit of glitz and glam. So I'm using my Sakura Jelly Roll pen. This is the clear dust one. And I'm just adding a tiny bit of circles really, just to create a little bit of pattern on that poster. And of course his little nose. And then I thought I do need a tiny bit more sparkliness. So I'm using this fabulously awesome product, the Nuvo drops. I just adore this one. It doesn't have much color in this one. It has a more glittery stuff, and I absolutely love it. And they dry, when they dry, they are really round and they won't go anywhere whoosh whoosh or anything. Absolutely love these things. And now the card is finished, and I hope you liked what you saw. Thanks for stopping by.